Okay, have a read of my column in today's News Limited papers if you can. Police are investigating this week's horrific attacks in the eastern suburbs. As you all know by now, a dozen cars and buildings were spray painted with the words F Israel. One vehicle was set alight. Can you imagine how terrifying that would be? Those still denying anti-Semitism is rearing its ugly head, not just elsewhere in the world, but in our own backyard, are kidding themselves. After their efforts this week, I'm waiting for the ABC's Media Watch to reveal that 10 years ago, a local boy of Jewish descent said something dubious. Therefore, the attacks are justified and indeed the fault of all Jewish and Israeli people. I mean, that's basically what the program did earlier this week, inferring Jewish soccer fans were to blame for a series of anti-Semitic attacks centred around a soccer match in Amsterdam. The "they started it" kind of thing. Now, I proudly featured in their report and will not be shamed for telling the truth, which I did. I will not be convinced by anyone that some fans tearing down a flag resulted in a Jew hunt that was not only justified, but deserved. I condemned that behaviour by Israeli fans, by the way, on this show, well prior to their episode airing. For a program that accuses others of glossing over facts, they seem to do a fine job of it themselves. The ABC would never, ever try to justify any other minority group attacked in that way, would they? In fact, they'd be the first to go harder than anyone else. So why are Jews different? There are idiotic soccer fans all over the world, but I have never seen bad behaviour by some result in the hunting down of others based solely on their ethnicity or religion. It's akin to justifying a woman being beaten up by her husband for being rude. It's disgraceful. Both sets of soccer fans behaved poorly beforehand, but only people of one religion were hunted down afterwards, and I could only find one religion of people who ended up in hospital wounded. Every single time the attempt is made to justify disgraceful attacks on Israelis and Jews thousands of kilometres away from the Middle East, it sets the scene for more. People become emboldened to act on their hatred when they see excuses made for it. They think it's okay when they see attempts to justify it. How the illegal leaders in Iran and their evil proxies must be rubbing their hands together in glee as they look at the capitulation around the world of civil societies. We are, so sadly, playing right into their hands. I've been trying to figure out ever since October 7 last year how this has all occurred. How so many people I had previously thought to have integrity and a moral compass have disappointed me so. How anyone can genuinely believe that if you care about innocent children in Gaza, as we all desperately do and should, that supporting the terrorists ruining their lives will help them. I've come up with the following, and I'll say it again because it matters. Terrorism and evil require three things to not only survive, but to thrive. Weak leaders, compliant lackeys, and that's my attempt not to say useful idiots all the time, and silent majorities. That's it. Weak leaders, they lay the entire foundation. They set the tone for what a country will accept and what it won't. Compliant lackeys, they make a lot of noise and they're empowered by weak leaders. The silent majority allows them to take up all the space and appear much bigger and more powerful than they really are. The only thing those of us not in government and not idiotic can do is speak up. Otherwise they win, and the consequences of that will mean a further degradation of the type of country our brave men and women have fought for and died for. I had Dr. Gard Saad here on this show recently, and I asked him how people can genuinely believe, and some I believe do, that supporting Hamas is an act of care for those suffering in Gaza. He calls it suicidal empathy and revealed that he's writing a book right now on that very topic. I likened it to something like Operation Sovereign Borders. When some called it cruel and heartless, most others, myself included, saw it as a necessary and powerful way to stop children drowning at sea and heinous people smugglers continuing their trade. If only those who purport to stand for human rights and innocent children joined those trying to eliminate the terrorists responsible for their deaths, imagine how powerful and eventually peaceful our world would be.